Hey guys, Nick here from Shop Blast, and today I'm going to show you how to build this 3-tiered tabletop display for pop-up events or retail space. The materials you'll need for this project are one 2x4 foot piece of finished plywood, a drill, a tape measure, a pipe cutter, Gorilla Glue, one 7/8 inch Forstner bit, one 24-inch long piece of 3/4 inch copper pipe, some painter's tape, a circular saw, also known as a skill saw, and a straight edge.
The first thing you're going to want to do is lay out your products that you want to display on half of the piece of plywood. Note that you're only going to lay them out on half because you need the other half of the piece of plywood to act as the base for the stand. Once you are happy with the layout of your products, then you can start to see where you're going to need to make those cuts. Remove all your stuff from the piece of plywood and then begin measuring out where you need to make the cuts. Since I have a 2 foot by 2 foot area to work with, I thought the best way to utilize this space was to create 3 different shelves. So one shelf will be 1 foot by 2 feet, and then the remaining piece of the material I will cut in half to create 2 1 foot by 1 foot shelves. Pro tip, use painter's tape over the lines where you're going to be cutting to prevent tear out. Now that I have my tape laid out, I can take my tape measure and re-measure where those cuts need to be, and then use my straight edge to make clear lines for cutting on. Now we are ready to cut our pieces. But first we're going to set the depth of the blade on our circular saw so it is just past the thickness of the material that we're cutting. And now we cut out our pieces.
Look at how clean those edges came out when we used painter's tape and a nice new saw blade.
Now that we have the shelves cut out, we can focus on the base of the stand. So what we're going to do is measure out where our pieces that we cut were on the base. And then from there, we can use our straight edge and match up opposite corners to create an X in the middle of where those pieces were cut. And this is how we're going to know where to drill the holes for the pipe. It's important not to drill all the way through because you don't want the pipe to be seen from the other side. So what I did is I flushed up the top of the bit with the top of the plywood, and that left about 1/8 of an inch of wood left at the bottom of the hole where I was drilling. And then you're going to want to repeat this process for the bottom of the shelf pieces. Now we can move over to the pipe cutting portion of the project. The lengths I chose for the pipe were 11 inches, 8 inches, and 5 inches. And the reason I chose these numbers is because this allows the levels to increase by 3 inches at each level, and it also will use the entire length of the 2 foot piece of copper pipe. Once we have all the pipe cut, we can then dry assemble the pieces together to make sure everything is fitting properly. Now that we know all the pieces fit, we can start gluing the pipe into the back of the shelving pieces. And note that Gorilla Glue works best when the surfaces are slightly damp, so use a wet rag or paper towel to dampen the surface before gluing. Use that wet rag to wipe off any excess glue squeeze out, and then take something with a right angle and hold it up against the pipe to make sure that your pipe is going straight up and down.
Once you're confident with how straight your pipes are, then we're just going to wait and let this dry overnight. All right, it's the next day. Our pipes are dried, and now I'm going to assemble the shelf pieces permanently to the base.
I just chose to kind of eyeball where the shelf should be, but if you wanted to, you could use a tall straight edge and make sure that all of the edges line up perfectly. And we're done. That is how you build a 3-tiered tabletop display for pop-up events or retail space. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.